Well, hello there. Welcome to Watcha Reading. I'm Keenan, and I'll be your host. I have a letter today from a girl named Olivia who lives in Brooklyn, New York. Let's see what she's reading. Dear Keenan, I had the chance to read this great book called Dancing in the Wings by Debbie Allen. I'm also taking ballet lessons after school and have really enjoyed it. Can you talk more about what it's like to be a dancer and what we can learn from it? Sincerely, Olivia. Thank you for writing me, Olivia. I'm so glad you're having the chance to take lessons. It's important in life to do things that we really enjoy and can inspire us. When I was your age, I loved going to the ballet with my uncle. It is a special time to sit back and really appreciate all the amazing things the performing arts world is doing. I think I know just the person to bring on. We'll be back. Welcome back. Today we have Professor Warfield, who teaches at Rochester Institute of Technology. Thomas is an amazing performer, and we are so fortunate that he's here with us today. Today we're here to share his story and his career with us. How are you, Professor Warfield?
Hey, I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so good to see you.
Thanks.
So today our book is Dancing in the Wings by Debbie Allen.
Wonderful.
And I thought you would be wonderful because, you had a career, you're singing, and, dancing and performing, so I just thought you'd be great for it.
Oh, thank you for having me. That's a wonderful children's book that Debbie Allen wrote, so it's great.
Yeah, we got a letter today from a girl named Olivia who lives in Brooklyn. And she wanted to know more about the profession, and I know the right person for it. So yeah.
Ask away.
So my first question for you is, what led you to want to pursue a career in dancing and the arts?
Well, I come from a family of musicians, and so I was kind of, I don't want to say pushed into that, but I was guided into that direction. At an early age, I started piano when I was 4. And then I started singing soon after that. And so, music was just always a part of it. My father was a musician. My uncle was a musician. So it was just part of our lives, it was just automatic. And so I guess I fell into that in a sense, but I also had some talent, so there was that. But then, growing up, I was in an opera company in Rochester, and one of the operas we did was Carmen, and Bizet's Carmen. And I remember I was probably 10 or something in the children's chorus, and there was in one of the scenes, I don't remember, Act 2 something, there's a scene of a gypsy dance. And I was fascinated watching these dancers. And I went home and said to my mom, I want to dance. And so we found a dance school, and that was how dance started with me. And so, and then my career became dance, after college. And I think I never stopped with music, but dance just became my career. Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. Yeah. So this might be a hard question, but I know because there's so many, but what dancers inspired you, would you say?
Well, here in Rochester, where I grew up, in the mid-'70s, Garth Fagan had started his company, which was then called The Bottom of the Bucket Butt. And I did have some classes with them when I was growing up. So I was very inspired by Garth and his dancers. But I was studying at the Mercury Ballet School most of my childhood, and so I was inspired by ballet dancers. And during that time, Rudolf Nureyev was really, the world-famous ballet dancer, and I was just in awe of Nureyev. And as I read more about ballet history, I became really enthralled and some might say obsessed with Nijinsky. And so I was just very interested in ballet from a perspective of abstract art. And so that era of Nijinsky and the Ballet Russe was sort of captured me. And so I was very interested in that. But later on, I was inspired by Alvin Ailey, Martha Graham, of course, the choreographer George Balanchine. All those people were still alive when I went to New York. So I was really inspired by all the dancers at that time.
That's wonderful. And would you say your parents encouraged you in some way to pursue a career in the arts?
Well, I don't know if they really, well, they didn't push me to do it, but they exposed me to it. So I think that was part of it. And of course, like I said, it was all around. We were constantly going to concerts, or my dad had a concert, or, so it was part of our everyday life. My brother, though, studied piano and violin and dance also, but he didn't go into it. I mean, so
Right.
I think I had a passion for that, for the arts, and so it was kind of where I found myself, and so I think if you're lucky enough to find what you love to do, you have a passion for something and you can do it, go ahead, pursue that, so that's what I did.
And your dad was an opera singer, but your aunt is also an opera singer.
Yeah, so really the lineage is my father, who was a singer also, but my father was more a conductor, actually. His brother, William Warfield, was the famous opera singer who, I was telling you before, sang Old Man River in the MGM film Showboat. And it was after Showboat, Showboat was 1951, and I think in 52, they did this production of Porgy and Bess that was an international production. And Leontine Price, who was not a famous singer yet at that time, played Bess, and my uncle played Porgy, so that's how they met. And they actually married during that production, run of that production, which eventually ended up on Broadway. But, and then she went on, of course, to become, one of the great opera singers. So yeah, I had all that in my world, so yeah.
Did she, I have to ask you, did she always enjoy meeting President Carter and singing for him?
Oh, I think she did. She really loved President Carter. She went to the White House many times. I think under President Johnson was probably the first president, but I think every president almost after. But Carter loved opera, and he loved Leontine Price's voice. So I think they had a very special connection.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you're like the dancing genius.
I don't know about the genius part. Yeah.
So what's your favorite style of dance, would you say?
Well, I started out as a ballet dancer, and when I first went to New York, I was at Joffrey. But when I went to college, I was at SUNY Purchase, and I kind of switched to modern dance. So, during that time, I was doing works of Merce Cunningham and Paul Taylor and Bill T. Jones, Arnie Zane. So, and then my career really was in modern dance after that. So I danced with companies in Europe and Asia primarily, and it was always modern dance. So I don't know if it's my favorite dance, but it's something that I learned well, and I embodied it, or it embodied me. But I love lots of dance. At RIT, where I'm the director of the dance program, I have taught ballet, modern dance, hip-hop dance, jazz dance, probably other stuff that I can't remember. So, I do like all kinds of dance. I once was at a Chinese dance company in Macau.
Wow.
And that was Chinese dance. So, I like movement. I just like dance. So, and then, I've also studied tap dancing, African dance. So I don't know if I have a favorite. They all have their own way of telling a story. And also they have their own way of connecting to people. Ballet connects in a different way than hip-hop dance does, or tap dance will connect in a different way than jazz or modern dance will. So they all have their sort of necessities or their place, their purpose. Yeah.
Right. I love how dance connects with the audience. And I remember when my uncle took me to see the Nutcracker when I was little, and I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. And I mean, regardless if you're like a Michael Jackson dancer
Yeah.
or a ballet dancer, you have that connection.
Yeah, I think that people, as human beings, movement is part of our lives. Whether you walk or you use your hands or you use your mouth, movement is really happening. The blood in our veins is moving all the time. So our breath is moving. So I think movement is really a part. We identify with movement. A baby, before they even talk, they're moving. They're dancing basically. So I think movement is just inherent in being human.
Right. And I have to ask you, what would you say is your favorite memory of performing or just being in the business in general?
Oh, God. Well, I could tell this one story about doing a command performance for Queen Elizabeth. It wasn't the performance part I really don't even remember the performance. But afterwards, she comes up to the stage and she greets the performers, and we line up, and they give you these rules. You can't touch her, you can't look at her unless she looks at you, you can't, whatever, there's all this stuff. And I was, a young dancer, and I was very nervous, actually. And I was sort of jittery, and like I couldn't stand still. Like I was so nervous about meeting her and not screwing it up or something. And so she was coming down the line, and she was at the person next to me thanking them or whatever. And I don't know what came over me, but I reached out when she came to me and I hugged her. And it was not a good scene at first, because within moments somebody was in between us, but then she was very sweet, and she hugged me back and she said, "Oh, it's okay, and you were nice." I can't remember what she said, but I was out of my body, like, it
Right.
was really.
It's always a cool experience when you get to meet the Queen, right?
Yeah, that was really an exceptional experience. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. So who would you say has been some of the best people that you've had the privilege of working with in your career?
Oh gosh, the list is so long. But I will start, I think, with Carmen de Lavallade, who recently passed away, who was kind of a mentor for me, really, since the time I was in college. She was one of the trailblazing people in terms of, both in terms of modern dance and the sort of crossover to like Broadway or musical theater or stage dance in that sense, and also as a person of color doing that trailblazing. So I think, working with Carmen was one of the highlights, really, because I learned so much about being true to your own, I want to say your own destiny, but of course we don't really know our own destiny. But it's more being true to your own way. Like, I have a way of doing this, or I have a way of being, or I have a perspective about something. And being true to that. It's something that comes out of you that if you're true to it, it's something the world needs, in a sense. We all have some unique thing about us. And so I feel when you're true to what that is, your true self, it's something the world actually needs. That's why you're here, in a way, like to give something, to contribute to making this a better place or a more beautiful place or whatever it is. And I saw that in the way she lived her life, not just on the stage, but in real life. So she's definitely one of the people that I truly am blessed. Another person, though, who sort of had a big impact on me was the director, Franco Zeffirelli. And I was in his production of La Boheme at the Metropolitan Opera in 1981, I think. And I had dropped out of school at that point, college, and it was really Franco who over some time, getting to know him, told me about going back to school. And really, it was through his conversations with me that I thought, oh, I'm going to go back to school and finish school. So he had a big impact on my life.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, it's so cool, to look at his films and all the work he's done through the years.
He was amazing. In that production of La Boheme, he was not only the director, but he designed the sets, the costumes. I mean, he was a Renaissance man in terms of artist.
Wow, that's great. Would you say you have like a favorite show or a ballet that you've got to do over the years, or you just love in general?
That's a great question. When I was younger, it's so funny saying that, but when I was younger, I used to do Paul Taylor's Cloven Kingdom. It was a piece. It was a piece by Paul Taylor, and I loved doing it. It was a very athletic kind of dancing, but so it was hard on your body really, but it was extraordinary. So my memories of that are very strong. And when I was at Purchase actually, we were doing that piece and toured it. And one of the places we did it was Hong Kong at the International Dance Festival, and it really. It was a sensation, really, to say the least. So, that's a piece that sticks out in my mind a lot.
That's amazing. How would you say, I know we talked about, the physical aspect on the body and everything. How would you say you handled the pressure being a performer?
I think for me, performing is a release. So, I don't. Let's see, how do I say that? I pour, as most performers do, I guess, pour myself fully into what I'm doing with performing, when I'm performing. But even though it is exhausting because it's a lot of energy, but it's also, I find it healing. So I think if I didn't do that, I would probably have to go into therapy. I don't know. Because I think through dancing, through singing, I'm emptying the psyche, and so it's a little bit therapeutic. So in a way, yes, I'm exerting a lot of energy, but it's also feeding my soul in a way, and so it is at the same time revitalizing me. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but yeah.
Wow, that's a good way of putting it. I never thought of it like that. So when you work with your students, what kind of encouragement do you give them to pursue their own dreams?
I tell my students to enjoy what you're doing, even when things are challenging, and this is not just with dance, but with life. You have to find a way, so whatever is going on in your life or on the stage is outside of you. It's not you. So you can actually control, in a sense, your reaction to what's going on in life. Because that's going on out there. It's not you, actually. So I tell my students to make sure you're enjoying what you're doing. Even if you make a mistake, don't think of that as the end of the world. It's not. It's something that happened on your journey. If you're doing a dance, it's that 5 minutes or whatever it is, and it's something that happened in there. But it's not tomorrow. That's not going to really matter. So
sun's going to rise, right?
You can't get caught up in holding on even to the things that are great. Because those are the things that happen, but they're not actually you. So you should be enjoying what's happening. You should allow what's happening to inform you about yourself, because that's the important part. You becoming yourself is really the whole point of everything, I think. And so, performing, like anything else, is a way of discovering something about you. And so you should be enjoying that discovery. I mean, that's really what it's about. So I encourage them to always be enjoying stuff. And because it can get, this is a hard profession, and things can become very hard and difficult and challenging. But if you can find a way to not allow that to make you something, you're something that makes that. It's not the other way around. I think it's Emerson, or it could be Thoreau. Somebody says something about, what the things that happen outside of me or externally or something like that are small compared to what's inside of me. So I'm sure I don't have that quote exactly right, but it's something like that. And I remember first hearing that as a young person, and I thought, yeah, everything that's happening is outside of me. It's not happening inside of me. It's happening on the outside. It's external. What I have control over is what's happening in me, what I'm doing, my response to the world. And so that's where I think is the discovery of myself. And then sharing myself, expressing myself to the world is in a way changing the world. So it's really important about who you are as a person or as a performer, and that then is how you're going to express to the world, or how you're going to perform on stage. It's kind of the same thing in a way. So anyway, I can't even remember what your question was now. But that's. Oh, what do I say to my students? The other thing I say to my students is, today will be gone tomorrow. Don't hold on to everything that's happening today, because then you have no space for what's happening tomorrow. Let today be today. We had a rehearsal, maybe things didn't go great. Okay, but tomorrow is a whole other opportunity. It has nothing to do with yesterday, what happened yesterday. So learn from that, and then you're welcoming the next thing. So, yeah.
I love that. That's amazing. I wish I had you as a professor.
Oh, that's sweet, thank you.
Maybe it's time to retire and put on the dancing outfit, right?
There you go, right.
So my last question for you, it might kind of lapse with my previous question, but what advice would you give to a student or a young person that wants to pursue dancing, or they want to pursue acting or singing? What advice would you give to them?
Learn everything you can. The more you know, the more you have to give, or the more you can share about things, and the more depth you can have about things. So, for example, like when I go traveling somewhere, I always try to find different neighborhoods to walk in, because it inspires me. Something I never saw before, So I'll just get lost walking around somewhere. In a way, you're never lost. It's just, you're somewhere. You may not know where you are, but you are somewhere. And eventually, and now, of course, we have GPS and everything, so you're really never lost. But I remember one time getting lost in Tokyo, and it was like the middle of the night, and I really could not find my way back to the hotel. And for almost 3 hours, I was walking.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't speak Japanese. I couldn't really ask anybody anything. And it was the middle of the night anyway. There was hardly anybody outside. But it was so fascinating, because I found so many things that I would have never seen. I would have never experienced. As a young artist, or anyone really, just learn as much as you can about life. Life presents you with all kinds of opportunities to learn. Take it. Learn something. Because it's not so much that you're accumulating knowledge, but as you learn something, or as you expose yourself to something new, you're learning about you.
Absolutely.
You're learning about how you react to that. And so you're learning something new about yourself. And so as an artist especially, a performer, the more you know about yourself, the more in-depth your work can become, because you have much more substance there. So I would just say learn, 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 learn. Also, follow your passion. Don't let people dim your light. Tell you, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you're not good enough to do that. Or try something else. Now, I'm not saying don't have a thing to fall back on, because we do have to pay bills. But don't give up following the passion. You have a passion for a reason. So it's not there for no reason. Everything in life is a reason. So you have a passion for something because the world needs you to do it. Who knows? Maybe you'll invent you'll be an Einstein.
Right.
We don't know that until you follow your passion. Maybe you'll be an Elvis Presley. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know that until you follow your passion. So the world can't gain until you do you. Yeah? So that's what I tell my students. Follow your heart. Follow your passion. Whatever you love doing, do it.
Right, and that's kind of the environment we try to build here on Watcha Reading. We want kids to explore. We want them to go outside the box, go to neighborhoods they haven't been before, learn something different, go to the library, learn to read, love to value education. And that's something, you're a dear friend of my uncle, and that's something he always told me. He's like, education is the most valuable thing in life.
It's the most valuable thing because the learning, it goes back to about yourself, but the learning about the world, we're part of this world, or this neighborhood, even if you just take it, or my family. You can go that small, and it's like the more you learn about your environment, the more you know about yourself. And so that's you just don't know when you're going to utilize the learning or the knowledge that you've accumulated. And so you can go back and say, oh, no, I know about this. When you're confronted with something. And I just think it's very important to emphasize how important it is to educate yourself about as many things as you can.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love what you said, that the world needs you with your passion. It kind of made me think back to a film that Rob Reiner made in the 80s called Stand By Me.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I thought about that film was because River Phoenix's character, there was Gordy, and then there was River Phoenix's character, Chris. And he encouraged him to pursue writing because he loved writing, and he had a passion for it. He had a gift in it. And I love, by the end of the film, he's a writer. And sometimes we have to have people encourage us to pursue our interests and to remind us.
Yeah. And the other piece of that, I think, is encouraging other people. So when you see somebody who likes doing a certain thing, encourage them to do it. Because sometimes that one little, go ahead, try that. It could change their whole life. And it then in turn change the lives of the people they touch. So yeah.
That's amazing. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. But thank you so much, Professor Warfield, for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you for being a gift to the world. Thanks so much. That's all the time we have today on Watcha Reading. Thank you for joining me today. As we say goodbye, remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Your words matter, your actions echo, and every small act of kindness makes a big difference. From all of us here, thank you for watching, and take care of one another. Bye now.